Hello, welcome back to Blended Sushi Live. Today I want to talk a little bit more about the creations of this kind of like a virtual home. It's kind of like work in progress. I don't know what it's gonna be yet. Could be like some kind of story ideas. But this was basically inspired by a game I played recently. Um, it's called Fantasions. Of course, this is an old school game, but recently made available on the Apple Arcades from the creator of Final Fantasy Chrono Trigger, Hironobu Sakaguchi. So the game is very old school. If you play some Japanese RPG in the past, like Final Fantasy, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, you're probably familiar with this idea. So you're playing a character that's walking around through the fantasy places, um, and yeah, you're basically following the story of the character. There's a bit of fighting or battle game with the monsters, etc. But what's really interesting here is in 2021, of course, is that the way the game is being created and being augmented or projected into real diorama. So it's all the world you see inside this game is really like a handmade and crafted um, diorama. So this is really what's kind of inspired me to do the same thing. Although I'm not making diorama, but maybe in the future, if I'm into making diorama, or in case what I'm doing, really, I'm just doing scan, like 3D scan around the city where I live. Um, you might already recognize this place. This is actually the Foundation Park at the Rocks, Sydney. So I thought it was kind of like an art gallery, but it's actually based on real. There's a real background story behind it. It's from the 19th century. Uh, this is actually like a multiple house. It's not like a single apartment. It's like multiple small houses at Sydney the Rocks, um, at the Rock Sydney, and the place is called the Foundation Park. Okay, uh, the house was probably built on the 1874 to 78. So the place looked like this. It's located near the Argyle Stairs. I often came over there a couple of times in the past 10 years or so. So the other day, I was, like I was doing casual scanning of the place using my iPhone, and I've been doing that for since last year. So with the iPhone 12 Pro or the latest iPad Pro, there's like LiDAR scanning, so you can do like a quick scanning around the city. There isn't really much things you can scan, but I think the one that's really kind of makes sense is the scanning and the locations, like historical places like this. So this is what I have. So I actually shared this on Sketchfab as well. If you follow my Twitter, I've been talking about this for quite a while. So I have my character here. This is the avatar. I didn't create the avatar. This is actually from Wolf 3D avatar creator. I found this to be like a nice balance. It's not too realistic. It has some kind of stylistic look. Maybe in the near future or like even today, if you have access to MetaHuman from Epic Unreal with Unreal Engine, you can have this kind of quality. I don't think everyone have the same access. Currently, it's maybe for some professionals. In the future, you can do like vlogging or like a DJ or some kind of performance or presentations using your own MetaHuman. It's very interesting, but this is too realistic for me at the moment. I like stylistic avatar, so you can upload your photo, take a photo of yourself, and make a character give a different costume, and you just download the GLB, right? And then you can bring it into Mixamo, and like what I have here, I have just a character sitting idle, sitting on the chair of the environment. You might also notice there's these cutouts that I bring into Blender simply by file import image as plain. So this is just my doodle. It's really nothing special, but I thought it's kind of funny. Anyway, so I want to talk about this more because it's very interesting. Maybe when you were kids, you play around with Lego, or before even Lego, you like to have like a like a paper character placed on the environment. In this case, the environment is this house. So you have your characters, and you have a bunch of assets. Like here I have Sushi. The character is obviously thinking of sushi, this imaginary sushi that I put there. So the character is already have animation from Mixamo, and I can put the character anywhere I like. I can scale the character if I want to. Yeah, it's funny. It's also very interesting. It's actually, it's not. Everyone who plays video games already knows characters, environment. You can place your characters into. You can put like a dialogue interactions, but this is actually basically pretty much the foundations of movie making, storytelling. It's obvious, but it's not always very obvious. So the character currently have these animations. On top of that, I also have cameras. These cameras have animations that I created using the iPhone and the Virtual Cam app. So I can, where's my iPhone? I can actually use my iPhone and try to connect using the virtual camera. If I start surfing and I scan it using my iPhone, so if my Wi-Fi connection is working correctly, I can start moving the camera like so. So this is the iPhone camera controlling the camera inside Blender. The camera seems to be scaled quite large at the moment. It's like I'm looking into diorama. I can make this full screen. Yeah, pretty cool. And I can record the animation, so it's no problem. It's almost like a third-person view into the character, like in a video game. Okay. All right, so I can disconnect this, and yeah. So that's a quick demo of virtual camera. So we have that tools already. Really, what I want to demonstrate is that if you have a MacBook Pro, at least have an iPhone 12 Pro with LiDAR or iPad Pro with LiDAR, you can create something like this quite easily. So with the character currently is just sitting down and doing these animations, but it stops over there because it's not looping by default. I'm using Blender NLA, nonlinear animations. So these stripe of animations, this is the animations that has been turned into NLA, nonlinear animation stripes. I can easily mix and match it with other animations. I will try to show you. I haven't used this for a while, but I think it has been improved a lot. We have frame, start, frame, and blend in, blend out. We have a lot of things going on. Animation, stripe times. We have edit actions. I think what I need is the stripes. And yeah, action clip. Frame, start, frame, end. I can extend this, and by default, I believe it's gonna loop. Okay, it's not looping, so you might need to specify here, repeat 3 times. Now it's looping. If I set this correctly, okay, I think I set 300.7. No. Anyway, the stripe has certain length, and I need to specify here correctly. And now it's looping. And I can scale the playbacks. I can make it faster or slower. So I think this is faster. The character now is looking a little bit nervous, or maybe he's just sleeping. The character, of course, have facial expressions, and currently I haven't animated this, but I can animate the facial expression as well, making it the character talk, etc. So if I have another animations from Mixamo, I can bring this into Blender also. Let me try. I have a character, the same character with different animations, standing and clapping. Okay, bring the character in. Now we have 2 characters. I don't need this one. I can just delete hierarchy, but I can bring the second animations here, and now the character have 2 animations, but it suddenly jump into the ground. I believe I need to have an empty and just parent this armature into the empty, maybe, so that's easier. It's probably better. So, all right. So we have the character animating. It's blending with the bottom one automatically, so that's nice. Can repeat 20 times. Character is sleeping and dreaming and suddenly standing and clapping, still with closed eyes. This character from Wolf 3D actually have some animations here. You can make it talk or emote a little bit. It's kind of nice. This is, of course, have I invested into VR, maybe I could animate the character also. Oh, this is it has some animations for Apple AR here. Yeah, I like this character. Pretty cool. Just gonna put the character over there. So when working inside Blender, of course, Blender is also free and is available for everyone. It's not like Unity or Unreal yet, but I think in the near future, like maybe with Blender 3.0, if Blender supports fully USD, universal scene description, you can start to add extra like interactions to the character, so you can easily file export USD. You can export this into game engine, or maybe even just like a Apple Reality Composer, or send it into an app, so you can have like a story. But anyway, in Blender itself, like we already can see, we have a lot of control already, so it's kind of nice. We can also add some kind of lighting. So I just switch to different mode, 3D view, and I can add light. Okay, I put the light over there. I just duplicate the light and just put it near the character. So the character is sitting on this bench. So you can set up the camera, etc. This is in the full brightness. Let me try to I know, yeah. I need to blend in, blend out the animations. But anyway, don't worry about that for now. So we have the character, we have the environment, and we have a bunch of assets that I downloaded from Sketchfab. So I was actually looking into some old movies. There's this movie called Symbols. This is a very interesting movie from 2009. The character is also in pajama. This actor is a comedian, a Japanese comedian. I forgot his name, but the movie title is Shinboru in Japanese. It's a character suddenly appear in this white empty room, and character is given suddenly a lot of things appearing from the wall. It's really weird movies. You might think it's like a crazy movie, but this is really pretty much like the foundations of human trying to find the purpose of his entity, you know, like as a being, as a human being. It's really weird movie. You have to watch this. But yeah, so like my character in pajama with a koala sandals is pretty much, this is like the starting point. If I want to make a movie or stories, this is what we need. Even though it's like a CGI, but this is like a real movie with real actor, or you know, like a game, Final Fantasy game with I highly recommend you to play this game. If you have iPhone or iPad, you need a Apple Arcade subscription, but I think it's free for 3-4 months if you use it for the first time. The game always have like a treasure box, doors that you can open. You can talk to non-playable character. You can join a group with other characters. I know, like in the current time, you play more advanced game, but I like the old school game where you play like a single character. You don't play online with other character, but still you can walk around in this fantasy environment. I believe there are around 150 worlds that you can discover. This is the first one you can see when you're playing the game. The game, actually, what's interesting is that this is the diorama scan of the real physical objects environment, and the character is CGI, right? It's computer, it's interactive, you can control it. But if you do like a real scan of the real world in the locations, like maybe you have access to abandoned places in your area, or places you can never show to the world. You can scan the world, you can upload it to Sketchfab, and you can perhaps bring it into Blender or something and place your character. You can tell a story. I mean, on top of that, this world can be still like it's inside Blender, but the animations, you can actually select just the character and the file, export it as GLB or USDZ, and this become an AR that you can bring back into the world, if you know what I mean. So it's even though it's not real time, ideally it could be real time, and yeah, you can kind of beam yourself into different places, sort of. But you get the idea. It's the places is real. These animations is virtual inside Blender, but you can export it out and the other person at locations can actually see these animations if they place it back into the environment. So I think that's really quite futuristic in a way. Um, yeah, so yeah, a lot of things I talk about in this Blender Sushi Live, but I just want to share it with you. Hopefully it inspires you. If you have any idea about comics, video games, or movies, or whatever, you can you can make things. Like today, there's a lot of tools offered to you or available to you, and if you've been following Blender Sushi project from the very beginning, I actually I have very limited budget. I mean, I'm using Mac, and it's probably limited for 3D, but with Mac you have ecosystem and you can easily connect your iPhone and iPad and all sort of things. So it's a good if you're like a student, I think, starting to get into movie. With a movie, you have like you might have more tools. You work with people and with a bigger budget, maybe. But even with a smaller budget, if you can make movies, you can plan your movies, plan your actor, script it. And I haven't mentioned with the Fantasia. Director is Hironobu Sakaguchi, but music is by Nobuo Uematsu. So it's really old school. It's I just when I play this game, I kind of travel back into when I was playing Final Fantasy IX, I believe. I have to. The best Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy IX. It was on PlayStation 1. You can also play it on PlayStation 2. I think it was compatible. But this is one of the best game ever for that time. It's amazing. The character is amazing. It's all these characters. The character that's with a monkey tail. There's this princess. There's this I forget. Is it Fifi or I forget his name? Mysterious character. Each one with different properties. Yeah, this is a game that you should play at least once. Or Chrono Trigger. Time Machine Chrono Trigger. The game before its time. With Akira Toriyama as the designer of the game. This game has different ending. It's pixel based, but you can imagine it's really beyond its time. The game beyond its time. But anyway, yeah, currently now back to 2021, you have all the tools. Hopefully you can get inspired by this and try to make your own games. Hopefully in the near future I can focus my study on maybe using Unity or Unreal. I think I can use Unity. Unreal is too heavy for my MacBook Pro from the 2017, but Unity might work. Or I can use like Godot game engine, so just I can make the character kind of interactive, so I can control it with my PlayStation controller, PS5 controller maybe. I don't know. Make this character walk around, talk to another character. I don't know what it is. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully you find this interesting. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.